What am I? Who the fuck are you?
Shut up! We're going to play a game.
A game?
Tell me, what's your favorite scary movie?
I don't like scary movies.
Okay, fuck it. What's your favorite not scary movie?
It's Hardcore Henry, also known as Hardcore, directed by Ilya Naishuller and released in 2016.
Oh, wait, sorry. 1 second. Yeah, that's it.
Is that my...
Yes, I have kidnapped your friends and family, and they will die unless you can explain to me the story of that movie. You have 30 seconds. Really? That was like my warm-up question. That's your favorite movie, and you can't sum up the plot?
Exactly. And in this video, I will explain why. Всем привет! Today I'll be trying my hand at making a video essay to understand the style of Ilya Naishuller, a Russian film and music video director who, in my opinion, is easily up there with the great directors like Edgar Wright. We will see important points for what makes good directing and see what we can learn from it. I will divide this essay in 5 parts.
Prologue, the state of modern Russian cinema. Lesson 1, hooks. Lesson 2, incremental originality. Lesson 3, specific memorable moments. Lesson 4, symbolism, rewarding understanding. Lesson 5, shock ending.
As a disclaimer, this video will talk about Russian art and culture. And yes, the timing is really bad. But we have to remember that art is escapism, and it must be judged independently from the regime it was made under. And even then, have you ever listened to jihadist music? It's fucking awesome. Anyway, let's get to it.
Prologue, the state of modern Russian cinema.
So to start, modern Russian cinema. It's bad. It's really, really bad. There's no sugarcoating it. It's even worse than modern French cinema. And that's saying something. I started looking into foreign films many years ago, as I was tired of the,
Disney's Marvel American Superhero Movie 24. The revenge of the bad guy from 10 movies prior.
And movies from here, France, which, if you're not familiar, let me sum it up for you.
Hey audience, did you know that racism is bad?
No way!
That's crazy. I know, it's very hard to believe.
You know, 2 hours ago I was extremely racist, but then I saw this French movie and now I love minorities. Except the Jews. So, among other countries, I was curious what different ideas Russia could bring to the table. And it actually started pretty well. Movies like Battleship Potemkin from 1925 are considered classics of early cinema. It's also got one of my favorite scenes in history. This is after a mutiny, where one of the sailors was killed. The people are at his funeral, getting angry. Down with the butchers! Down with sadism!
Wow, that's a huge escalation.
Let nothing divide us! And then this guy comes in and says, yeah, kill the Jews!
Hey! What the fuck you say?
Hi, I'd like to report a racism.
Barges into a revolution, says kill the Jews, refuses to elaborate, gets fucking destroyed with facts and logic.
I've stopped racism.
What a chad. But that was a century ago. What about Russian cinema now? Well, let's start with an example that illustrates this very well. Zashitniki, or Guardians, a superhero movie. And from the very start you can see what's wrong. A hero with 2 sickles. Are you fucking kidding me?
You make me want to kill myself faster.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
We could have had a superhero with a hammer and sickle. How epic would that be? And even then, okay, you wanna have a hero with 2 sickles? Fine, just have another hero with 2 hammers and a third one who throws shurikens.
Sergeant Sickles. Marxist Comrade Hammer. And Socialist Samurai.
Ha ha ha! I am evil capitalist American! I will destroy Russia to build McDonald's!
We can't defeat him! He's stronger than any of us!
Yeah, he is.
but he's not stronger than all of us.
Comrades, if we unite, we can defeat him!
Shakespeare can suck it, I'm the greatest writer now.
And the rest of the movie is just as much this wasted potential. Nothing new from the American formula. Another perfect example, Притяжение, or Attraction. Are you tired of alien movies where Earth equals America?
Isn't America basically the planet?
Well, here's a movie where aliens land in Russia. So this movie seemed promising at first. You have two girls kissing, and I thought, wait, isn't that illegal for Russian movies to... Am I looking at brave defiance against government censorship? But 10 minutes later, that girl takes an alien spaceship to the face and fucking dies.
Hey kids, don't be gay, or else God will throw a fucking alien spaceship at you.
You know how in American movies, the government are always the bad guys who want to experiment on the aliens or some shit? Well, in this movie, the government are the good guys, protecting the aliens from the evil common people. Which, I guess that's technically original, but that somehow makes it worse. You have this girl falling in love with some hot alien dude, and then the aliens are like,
we thought humanity was just evil, always making war and killing each others, but now we see that they can also love.
Fuck you! Now, I was of course delighted when I heard that this movie got a sequel, which... Wait, what's happening? No!
You know when you're out with your friends, having a war with Greece, and they gift you a cool wooden horse? So you take it inside, go out for drinks, and it turns out that horse was filled with soldiers who stormed your city, completely ruin your night out with the boys. Then a few years later, the Greeks give you another horse, and you think, nah, it'll be fine. But surprise, this one is also filled with soldiers, and you're just left wondering, what the hell did I expect? Well, that's Attraction and its sequel Invasion for you. Movies with great looking trailers but insultingly bad content. Invasion is a movie in which, as the name implies, the aliens invade the Earth. And by Earth, I mean Russia. And by invade, I mean they take all the water from Moscow and turn the whole city into Splash Town, only to kill this one girl because she's special. What the fuck? Damn, no matter how far I get from Hollywood, I keep getting hit with the message. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
What do you mean go away? You're on my channel!
Fuck off, it's my channel now.
Hey, look, behind you, there's an Englishman. He's trying to take your whiskey.
He what?
Finally, I want to mention this movie. Fucking Leaving Afghanistan. We've all seen a million movies of Americans in Afghanistan, but what about Soviets in Afghanistan? I actually like this movie a lot. It has some really amazing scenes. And it really feels like they invaded Afghanistan again just to make this movie. But unfortunately, I found the story a bit lacking, and at the end, I kid you fucking not, it goes like,
You know, when we went into Afghanistan, I thought it was to help them build socialism. And now... Now I don't know.
Just replace socialism with democracy, and congratulations! You are the millionth movie about idealistic soldier finding out the harsh reality of war. Here's your medal. There are of course a ton more Russian films, these are just the best illustrations of my point. While countries like India, Korea, Taiwan have their own unique take on storytelling, Russian cinema is unbearably cliché. However, Russian music videos are the absolute opposite. I have not seen anywhere anything close to the thought and effort they put into music videos. This is where we get to Ilya Naishuller. He is a musician who initially directed music videos for his own band, Biting Elbows. He also went on to direct for the bigger and famous her bands Leningrad and The Weeknd, but also made 2 feature films. Hardcore Henry, 2 hours of pure violence in the first person, where you must prevent your girlfriend from becoming a Kurt Cobain fangirl. And Nobody, a film about method actor Christian Bale, destroying anyone and anything Russian, to prepare for his role as Volodymyr Alexandrovich Zelensky in the upcoming Netflix biopic. I'm putting in the description the links to all the videos I will talk about today. I really recommend watching them.
Lesson 1. Hooks.
Imagine 2 scenarios. First one, you're in a cinema. You bought your tickets, your phone is off, you just went through a bunch of commercials before the movie begins. You're gonna show some patience for the story to actually start. Second scenario, you're on YouTube. If you're bored for more than 10 seconds, you can just click elsewhere. So for a music video, it is extremely important to have a hook. Something to captivate the audience from the start. Here's a great example. The music videos The Stampede and Bad Motherfucker are the same story. First person point of view, and you're fighting bad guys for MacGuffin. The Stampede was in Biting Elbow's early career, clearly more amateurish. You start in an office desk, and it takes a little time before the action starts. Boring! But compare it to Bad Motherfucker, done 2 years later and much more professionally. The video starts, you've been taken hostage. Oh shit, where am I? What's going on? Then they shoot someone next to you. Oh shit, they're serious! And then the action starts almost instantly. This is catchy. Then again in False Alarm. The video starts and there's a bank robbery. Wait, I am the one doing the bank robbery. You're instantly taken in. And the first person point of view really helps making it engaging as you are the main character. Now, this is all well and good for action, but how do you apply this to other genres? Something similar applies, but in a different way. Consider Boy Is Dead, a story about a metal band becoming bland, commercial, losing its identity. This is how it starts. It's surprising, intriguing, and you've probably never seen something like it. So when your monkey brain will ask itself, do I want to see what happens to these girls when they grow up? It knows the answer. By the way, you'll notice I tried to apply the rule to this video. I'm talking about a director most of you never heard of, with my horrible accent and English pronunciations. Maybe opening with a skit kept you engaged? We'll see. To get back to my point, by far the best example is Cool Chick, a video entirely played on reverse. The story is about a chain reaction of events leading to a catastrophe, but backwards, so like a catastrophe leading to a chain reaction of events, if that makes sense. This makes every single scene a hook for the next. Every scene shows a new catastrophe and the reason for the previous catastrophe. A masterpiece. Mwah. My final illustration for the hook will be Voyage. The first half of the video recreates the annoying cliché of rappers flexing their money on screen, until you understand exactly how he got his money. A bank robbery, in which his friends and girlfriend all died, and he was just trying to spend it all before basically killing himself. Cool story, but you wanna make sure the audience sits through the cliché first half, to get to the good second half. How do you do that? Technically, you can do with the lyrics, but I don't know if you know this,
but I don't speak Russian!
So you also open with a visually stunning shot, signaling you're not just some noob, and you make it contrast a lot with the cliché so that people know something's not right. This is a perfect transition to my next bullet point.
Lesson 2. Incremental originality.
Incremental originality. It's a sentence I came up with to describe this idea. When making something of your own, you don't want to be too original. You have to use just the right amount of cliché, and add your own twist. Let me explain. Imagine, you want to tell a completely original story. Every scene is something nobody's ever seen before. You would build an entirely new world, an entirely new setting. You you're going to need a lot of exposition for people to have any clue what's going on. However, if you build your story on a cliché, then everything that's from this cliché requires zero exposition or explanation. People already instinctively know what's going on. It's familiar. You've seen people flex their money a million times. You've seen bank robberies a million times. The director doesn't need to take time to explain the character, the setting, or anything to you. There is just the simple original twist that everything the character flexes his money on reminds him of his friends dying.
Oh my god, it's a woman.
He's not smiling once throughout. The only smile he ever cracks is when he's about to join his girlfriend in death. Keeping your originality incremental and built on top of something familiar allows you to focus all your time on what's most interesting. And this applies even to extremely original stories. Star Wars was a revolution at the time. Lightsabers, spaceships, the Force, it was never seen before. But it was built on top of a medieval cliché of a knight saving a princess. And the classic small nice rebels versus big evil empire story.
Hi, we're the good guys. Because. And the empire is bad.
Game of Thrones. It's so out of this world that many people give up in the first season from being lost. But it's built on English medieval history. George R.R. Martin doesn't have to re-explain the English feudal system to you. And for example, he will use dragons, a monster established in other IPs, instead of making his own flying creatures. This brings me back to Hardcore Henry, and the question I asked at the beginning. How can I like this movie so much, having watched it 1,000 times, and still having no idea what the story is? This movie had unfortunately a lot of negative reviews, from, let's be honest, cinema snobs.
Oh, the story is bad. Oh, there's no character development.
Okay, first of all, there is character development. Henry starts the story as a simp, who will do anything to save his wife. And he ends the story as a Sigma male, who throws annoying women out of helicopters, like they're Chilean communists.
Listen to your heart!
But, most importantly, you're not watching this movie for the story! It's 2 hours of a half-robot Stakhanov unleashing pure violence on the goons of an evil corporation. These people might as well complain about the story in a porno.
Why would this girl order a pizza if she has no money to pay for it?
To get back to the point, here's the formula. We've all seen a million times a good guy beat up a million goons, but we've never seen it in the first person. That's the key twist. I read the synopsis on Wikipedia to prepare this video, and I finally understand the story. And look, it has more holes than plot, by a long margin. But it doesn't matter, the movie knows what it is. I think focusing too much on the story would have distracted us from the concept we're watching it for. The cliché story is the familiar basis the movie builds its originality on. Now afterwards, if you had Hardcore Henry 2, after we've gone accustomed to first person, then we could focus on the story. That would be incremental originality. But I think doing too much in one movie would have just left us confused. Nobody is very similar in that sense. The story is extremely cliché, but still feels very fresh and original by simply having good directing and a hero that shows vulnerability. A lot of vulnerability. To the fucking face! It really surprised me how effective it was, despite how simple the idea is. I've actually applied this lesson quite a lot in my short films. Florida Man works because it's built on top of established superhero cliché. I don't have to re-explain the idea of Alfredo, the butler helping him from the Batcave. For Immiwar, I definitely could have done without so much exposition, but it still helps that it's built on top of existing war movie clichés, with the twist obviously being that the enemies are birds. But it's not the only thing that makes these movies work. This takes us to the next part.
Lesson 3. Specific memorable moments.
With the amount of entertainment that exists, let's face it, the chances of you breaking new grounds are pretty low. So to stand out above the rest, you have to make yourself memorable. But when you have a good guy beating up 1,000 bad guys, how do you make it memorable against 1,000 movies like this? Well, you see, nobody remembers everything about a movie. We remember specific moments, the scenes that made us feel something, showed something we'd never seen before. If Hardcore Henry was just Henry shooting the bad guys for 2 hours, yeah, it would be pretty lame. But no, he fucking takes out his own eyeball, wraps his eye cable around the bad guy's head, and strangles him so hard it fucking decapitates him, and then he throws the body into the blades of a helicopter, and puts his eye back in like nothing happened.
It's not heaven, it's better.
After watching this film, I have become asexual, because no amount of sex can ever top the dopamine rush I got from this. Every other action movie is now worse because they don't have this. I would even argue that there's no point making action scenes anymore, as we already have this one. So that's the lesson. You wanna put something spectacular, a specific thing nobody's ever seen before. And this will make your story stick out in the heads of the audience. In Nobody, I can't remember most details of the shooting scenes, but I perfectly remember the entire room cheering when that guy throws a fucking chair at someone in a hospital bed.
Watch out, watch out, watch out!
Or when Saul Goodman calls the bus stop by bashing some guy's head with a cable.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights?
Nice.
Again, I try my best to apply this mentality to my short films. It's actually the main reason I make them. I don't think anyone's ever seen a giant Xi Jinping say
Freedom is strong!
an Emu Viet Cong, or McDonald's and Burger King fighting over exclusive rights to North Korea. Last example, the music video Control. It starts with a crash car being hit by a meteorite. I did not include this in the hook section because in Russia that's just a Tuesday. The story is that aliens take over human bodies and cause mayhem. It's pretty cool on its own, but we've seen it in things like The World's End, for example. However, in The World's End, I'm pretty sure I didn't see alien zombie women going Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, getting cut in half and then crashing the car because...
Yeah, female driver. What do you expect?
Hey! You quit disrespecting women!
You know what, let's just go to the next part.
Lesson 4. Symbolism. Rewarding understanding.
This one is very risky. In a lot of cases, it might go over people's head. It's tricky because you don't want to make things too obvious, but if they're not obvious enough, people might not even know their hidden meanings to look for. I noticed this firsthand with Emu War, by far my most symbol-heavy film. And I can ask my audience right now, who here understood the references that, for example, Isaac Martin was Yitzhak Rabin, and Mason Johnson was Marine Le Pen? Or that it was a Starship Troopers kind of story, where both sides are evil? I mean, if you did, serious props to you. I definitely went way too far with this. Anyway, now let's see how Ilya Naishuller does it. I've put this in 3 categories. The first one is films that don't have symbolism but a complex story with a lot of details. Those are Voyage and Kolchik. You will need at least a couple viewings to understand everything that happens, to completely understand the order of causes and effects in the destruction of a circus, or the details that the money flexer never smiles once throughout the video, except when he's about to die, or that he probably got himself caught intentionally. Then we have stories with simple symbolism. Boy is dead. The lyrics are about refusing to let go of an ex-girlfriend who has moved on. The video is about a girl mad that her friends moved away from heavy metal to become corporate. It doesn't take Einstein to figure out that it all symbolizes the general idea of being stuck in the past and the ambiguity of whether it's a good or bad thing. But when you piece it together, it leaves you with this philosophical question, makes you think about how it might apply to you. It's kind of rewarding. And also, this video has some of the best meme potential I've ever seen. Another example is Zolota. I showed this to many of my friends. Half of them understand it instantly, the other half take at least another viewing. It shows a woman being interrogated about past events, in which she turns into a demon, kills men and eats their gold. But then you realize, she was never arrested, she was never interrogated, she never turned into a demon. This is all a metaphor to illustrate that she seduces rich men only to steal their money. It's rewarding when you show it to your friends, they don't understand, and then you can explain it with a big sense of superiority. Finally, we have videos where the symbolism is basically on my level of being way too big-brained. Soy is one of my favorites. It's an homage to Viktor Tsoi, this guy. Viktor Tsoi was a legendary Soviet rock star who was the first to sing about life struggles, fighting for changes and for freedom. He inspired an entire generation during the Perestroika, and there isn't any musician in the West that can compare to what he represented in the East. But this homage got a lot of hate on YouTube, and I think I understand why. It's got product placement.
Wanna know what I fight for? Money.
Not very cool, I agree. But if you ignore that, what's underneath is genuinely great. It's a guy lost in space, with his cute alien. Their ship is about to explode, but they're smiling and dancing. It took me a long time to figure out this one, but when I did, oh boy did I feel like a fucking genius.
And I don't mean to brag, but I have a very large brain.
The ship is the USSR. It's clearly crumbling and everyone saw its fall coming. The alien is small, like a Walkman, a cassette player. It's a metaphor to Viktor Tsoi's music that allowed people to keep good morale through their country collapsing. I posted a comment explaining this to see if others had the same interpretation. The answers were
Damn dude, you are a genius.
And Nyet. Barges into my replies, says no, refuses to elaborate, leaves. What a chad. And then finally we have Juju. This was the toughest one. I had to go through all the comments and put together what each different user had noticed. You have this guy, who's like the level 30 mafia boss, bullying everyone. He got there by betraying the level 50 Godfather, after destroying a rival gang when he was just a level 1 crook.
That's how mafia works?
Now he's under attack by this gang. He gets turned into Batman arch-nemesis One-Face and gets killed. But the new boss gets betrayed by one of our own. And then the triads show up.
We are Chinese people.
So to my understanding, there's multiple layers to this. The first is about materialism.
Money.
The song lyrics describe characters who are all unhappy with what they have and being jealous of what others have, but are also unhappy with. In the video, every gang boss tries to take down the alpha male and take their place. But once they win, the victory is short-lived. And the cat seems to represent status. The second is geopolitics. You'll notice that this woman is wearing Adidas and the colors of Russia. These rappers are pretty clearly dressed in American fashion. And the Chinese are, well, Chinese. So it's the story of Russia and the West fighting each other, while China benefits from the shadows.
And now you're gonna submit to your Asian masters!
Then we have my interpretation, which is that the Chinese orchestrated all of this so they could eat the cat.
You wanna talk about shit about Asians?
Yeah, that joke would have worked better if it was a dog, but no, I'm not sorry for the racism.
That's not something to be proud of.
It is something to be proud of, bitch! You wanna be racist? I could be way more racist!
I am more white than you.
Needless to say, when you finally figure out the meaning of the video, your brain gets so big it rivals your mom.
You ugly, disgusting, fucking ugly, disgusting, fucking...
Wow, that sure made everything easy to understand.
What I'm trying to say is this. If you make your audience feel smart for looking into your content, that's a good recipe. If they feel good about themselves, they will feel good about what made them feel good. If that makes sense. And it incentivizes watching your stuff multiple times, sharing it with friends, like you should do with this video. This essay has been going on for a long time, let's get to the end.
Lesson 5. Shock ending.
The ending is the last impression people will have on your creation. If you don't stick the landing, people might live with the feeling that it was all bad, even though it was just the ending that was underwhelming. But if you can squeeze one last emotion at the very end, this is gonna stick. It can be shock, like in Kolchik, when you found out the whole catastrophe was caused by a child. This music video was sponsored by Durex. Or in False Alarm, when you spend the entire runtime simping for a woman, only for her to just live with your money. Or in Bad Motherfucker, where after fighting so hard to retrieve the teleportation device, the baby takes it. But it can be other emotions. My final example of the essay will be this. Love song. This woman was cheated on, and throughout the video, she gruesomely murders her ex-boyfriend, again and again in her mind. But in the end, she does this. This is powerful, it really resonates, simultaneously hating and loving someone. We've all been there. Unless of course you are subscribed to my channel. Did you know that by clicking this button, you instantly become a Sigma male, and no heartache will ever happen to you, even if you're a woman. It has been scientifically proven. Yes, that's how I'm ending this video. I have zero shame.
I would kill you, but I want you to publish that video first, so I can dislike it. You piece of shit! Your channel sucks! Your videos get no views, and you think it's the algorithm? No, it's because they suck!
But I got a cameo from the Critical Drinker!
Yeah, and he did it out of pity! Like Make-A-Wish Foundation for your channel, before it dies! Of cancer! And the cancer is you!
Нікому ще свободи, а хто борець, той здобуває світ.
You piece of shit! You piece of shit!
J'aime bien comme ça.
You piece of shit!
You piece of shit.
You piece of shit! You piece of shit! You piece of shit! You piece of shit!
Attends, sympa du bleu.
Ah oui. You piece of shit!